And here for your Friday night recap. Just me, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy. How are you guys doing tonight? Hope you're well. If you're here on a Friday night, what do we got? About 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Central, other times and other time zones. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. I think you should be making better life choices. But nonetheless, seems like some of you are going to be here. And I've got additional support for tonight's show. We're going to get to that in just a few moments. I've officially sold out for all the right reasons. I see Chris, I see Jeff out there. So, as always, because I'm the one man show here, I'm going to just ask you guys to confirm with me that things look and sound good. I haven't touched anything really since yesterday. So, I'm going to hope that everything is just fine. But I need you to please just give me a little confirmation. I need that affirmation. I am. Yeah, looking for it. Hey, Tear Bear. Seth says, I've got Mark, Seth, Jeff, Chris, all jumping in on the action early. I'm going to do just literally a couple minutes, not even a couple moments of making a few posts and updates out here for all of you. Elliot says, I want to make questionable life choices with you. Okay. As long as you're down for it and you know what you're getting into. Jim says, I definitely need to make better life choices. I think we all do to some degree. Look and sound good other than your face. Got him. Yeah, you got me. I say it all the time. There's only so much we can do with what's going on here. All right. I have to do just a couple more things. Friday night. I'm going to put in here that we are live. And I just need to share this. Believe it or not, there's like 10 little things that I actually get up and running here at the moment. I think that's good. I think this is good. Clicking a few more buttons. Looks good, Mark says. You're the man. Well, I wouldn't go there, Michael, but I do appreciate that. Hello, Disc Golf fam, Disc Golf daddy, Elliot. Appreciate it. Okay, so I've got that updated and ready to go. I just need to click. If you guys want to like, share, subscribe, I don't know. Those are all those YouTube things we always ask for you to do. If you want to find my Patreon account, that's cool. You want to see if the super chat works, you're welcome to do any of those things, or you just come along for the ride. That's all I really need you for. Just come along for the silly ride here. I'm just going to update one or two more things. Got to change this and click on that. All right. Chris says, these late night disc golf thingy always give me an excuse to sit on the couch and eat a pint of ice cream. So no complaints. Well, that's good. I was still up watching the live feed of the FBO because I was working. I hear you, Mark. All right. So let's start with, there's a couple quick things we have to do. First of all, welcome. Let's start here since I rarely do this. I'm Terry. I'm the disc golf guy. That's what I call myself. You're here watching my channel. This is a nightly recap of sorts where I will in a very whimsical fashion browse around things that either piqued my interest or things that happened today on the course, off the course. Maybe I'll tell a few stories. Occasionally, I will provide maybe a little bit of insight that I feel like is useful that is related to the disc golf tournament that's going on. Of course, we have the PDGA Major, the USDGC taking place, and then we also have the Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championships. That's all taking place. I'm not far from those grounds. I'm here in Rock Hill at the moment. I was out on the at the arena, we'll call it the Winthrop Arena today. I have been out there, and then I've interacted with a number of our fans and players and dignitaries and all the other people out there. So now I'm at a hotel, and I will just kind of break down what I see. I really enjoy, maybe because it's easier for me, I also do really enjoy answering your questions. So if you're out on YouTube, which I think is the only way you could be watching this at the moment, because that's the only place I'm pushing it. If you're watching it on YouTube, especially during live, it'll be harder later. If you're watching it live, then please go ahead and write a comment, log in, and do all that stuff. But go ahead and leave a comment, and that's something that I can then likely address at some point. If you've asked it 12 times and it's not a jerkish question or terrible comment, I'll likely reply to it. So I'll do my best. And real quick, I got to shout out Mr. Eckhart. Unbelievable. Thank you. Jumping in on the super chat, which I gladly accept. And then I read those usually right away. Paige was doing great, not hitting trees. And then that goofy caddy of hers started dancing, talking, and laughing while others were taking a shot. Was he on drugs? I honestly don't know what you speak of. Being truthful, I was not there for that, but I I don't know what was going on. But if there's a story there, I'm gonna have to get to the bottom of it. So thanks for jumping in on the super chat. And Zach Lavin, hope that works, says, thanks for the work you put in. I'm on the Jake Mon train. Let's go. Choo choo, giddy up, ride 'em cowboy, all of those things. I don't know what else they say. But yeah, Jake's the man. Jake's the man. Yeah, man. Unfortunately, there's a million Mon puns that could be played. All that I would say would be favorable, but there's probably a million of them because we used quite a few of them today behind the scenes. How does the layout? Okay, Eric has some questions. I've got some. So here's the first thing I'm going to do. I immediately want to do this. If I go over to, I think, this button, I click on one of these other buttons, and I'm going to bring up this, and there we go. Maniacal Mead is tonight's a main sponsor of tonight. Maniacal Mead. And when I got a little alert or information, that is Jeff who had reached out to me, I got some information, and then I went out to the website to realize that this seems like something I could get into. Um, I didn't know much about it, and I still don't know much about it, but it sounds like we're going to rectify that soon enough. So if I can find where he had sent me the note, I want to read it verbatim so that I can be well informed. Well, I can't promise I'm going to be well informed, but I can attempt to be well informed. So hang with me for just a sec, please. I want to find where this was written to me. All right, here it is. So for starters, he had reached out to me yesterday, and then again after he saw my post last night, or saw me doing this last night. So I very much appreciate it. Again, this is Jeff Frazier, and he says, I heard you say yesterday that you don't know what mead is, and I don't. Mead is also called honey wine. Essentially, it's an alcoholic beverage made with fermented honey. So the three main ingredients you need are honey, water, and yeast. After that, you can add anything you want, like fruits and spices, and come up with endless amounts of flavor profiles. That all, and yes, that is the guy from Ypsilanti, Michigan, where I've played disc golf before. So this continues to work out. That all sounds amazing and awesome. And then 2 seconds later, I was on the website where I saw Honey Darko, that is caramelized honey, cacao nibs, vanilla beans, aged in double chocolate tippins, which I don't know what those are, but it says double chocolate, store pick in a bourbon barrel. This might be a beautiful new relationship. And I'm by no means an alcoholic, or do I feel like I have a problem. But I've learned that I have become a very specific niche kind of connoisseur or consumer as well of bourbon barrel aged beverages, stouts, and ales. And with that, I have a Gorpe DM. This is something, it looked fancy, so it had to be tried. Nate Doss often helps me with my beverage choices. He wasn't here this weekend. And so, with that, this was really expensive and really fancy. And tonight is officially the night it gets tried. So, holy cow, with all of that, cheers to you guys. Oh my. Imperial Milk Stout aged in bourbon barrels with cacao nibs, raisins, and peanuts. Not gonna lie, that is beyond delicious. 15.3% alcohol. Okay, let's get to it. Pitter patter. Let's get at her. I think I can get sued for that, folks. We're talking Throw Pink Women's Championships. I'm gonna click on this button. Boom. What do we have here? We have FPO action from today. Immediately, right off the bat, Katrina Allen, Owen Scoggins, Hannah Blumrose. Unbelievable. All three of those women, 10 under par. Hannah today. Hannah had 12 birdies. If you do some quick math, she had a double bogey on 17, which means she had 12 birdies out there today. Incredible. Shoots 10 under. Owen Scoggins, all birdies, 10 of them, that is. No bogeys, no eagles, 10 birdies. Katrina Allen, spoiler, 10 birdies. No bogeys, no eagles, just straight up 10 birdies. Sarah Hokum, who we deem the queen of clean here in the Queen City area. She picked up her first bogeys today. She had 0 yesterday. She was the only FPO competitor to go through yesterday with 0 bogeys. Today, she picked up her first couple. She also did get an eagle, but she picked up her first couple. She then still shot a 5 under. Yesterday, she shot a 6 under with no bogeys. Today, 5 under with 3 bogeys and an eagle. So that's what we see out of Sarah Hokum today. A little bit different round. She told me after the fact, she said, this course is effing stressful. Yeah, she said, she said stressful, effing stressful. If you think about it, like, and I've thought about this for many years of coming to the Winthrop Arena. You can go out of bounds. Now that the course has changed up just slightly, but you can essentially go out of bounds on all 18 tee shots. Hole 1 now is the most difficult to actually go out of bounds. However, there's like 9 mandos on it. So you can go out of bounds on all 18 tee shots on this course. And I'd have to sit and actually think about it again because it's been a little bit. But I know at one point you could go out of bounds on almost all 18 either approaches or putts as well. And if you kind of think about that hole 1, same thing. It's still kind of tough to find out of bounds on a putt if you're way down there. 2 would be a little bit tougher. Yeah. Either an approach or a putt on almost every single hole, you can also still go out of bounds. So finding inbounds or staying in bounds is in itself quite the treat. So if we look back over here, again, we're in dark mode. We talked about this yesterday. I don't have time for the tutorial. UDisc doesn't pay me enough or at all, but they do have dark mode. Missy Gannon, who is your leader, had a lot more struggle today. She still picked up quite a few birdies, but definitely picked up additional bogeys. She ended up shooting just a 2 under. She opened the tournament with a 7 under, and then today came back out with the 2 under. So fell off the pace and is going to find herself on the chase card. Paige Pierce got it together in the early goings and then just slightly fell back again on 14 and 15. Ended up falling 2 spots to a tied for 6th with Ella Hansen. Ella Hansen also shoots the exact same score today of 3 under as she did yesterday to get to 6 under overall. Clearly one of the biggest stories that you were all watching besides the 10 unders was what Kristen Tatar was doing. She started out with the bogey on 1, and then things were still looking rough come all the way on hole 6. By 8, she was back to even par, and then picked up 5 birdies in the last 8 holes to get to 5 under. I think the most important thing, which I wish my mouse cursor worked, you can see she moved up 7 spots. So definitely a nice move for her. Hannah moved up 9 spots today with her shooting out there. So Very impressive in doing so, and exactly what you would expect. You shoot that hot of a round, you would expect to see that much of a jump. All right. Sorry, let me click on something. Oh, that's not supposed to be for me. All right, I'm going to click on that. Um, I'll keep scrolling, see if anything else jumps out at you. Annika Steen, who we saw take down the Norway event, the PCS Sula Open. She's had a little bit of a slow start yesterday, comes back out, gets a 4 under today. Haley King dipped a few spots, definitely a rough back. You look at everything she did on the back. She actually didn't have a par after hole 8. She gets the turkey of birdies, gets the birdie on 16, but then that's all sandwiched with a lot of OB strokes. And then Jennifer Allen, heck yeah, Stoutenardo, not DJ, heck yeah, that's another story. He's here. But Jennifer Allen starting out her day with an ace. And if I was really clever, there's even a slight chance. Here's what I would do. Normally, I would go like find it and track it down and try and show it to you guys. The problem is, and it's not her fault, it's the way hole 1 shapes up. She threw it. It got closer and closer and closer to the basket, and then she stepped right in front of the camera, so you don't really see it go in. It skipped up, it went in, she gets the ace. Unfortunately, you don't really see it, so I'm not gonna hunt it down right now. If she would've stayed out of the way, Jen, all right? Paige Shue, your 2018 world champ, had a 100% roller coaster day. I mean, she didn't get her first par until 12, and she only had 3 pars on the day. She shoots even. Holy cow. That's finishing with a double bogey. Oh my gosh. All that orange and blue. Crazy. Lisa Fakis moved up 8 spots today. Kat Merch moved up 13 spots today. The hole that she previously took a 12 on, 10 or 12 on, she took a birdie. She took a 4. And Valerie Mondahano had a rough finish out there. She dipped 20 spots from tied for 7th down to 27th. So she had a rough day, and Deanne Carey didn't have her best day either. All right. Course stats. I love to look at these to see if there's been any overall improvement. I think one of my favorite things to see. Oh, that's interesting. Now I do have a cursor, and you guys are seeing it. Huh. When I heard it, okay. Anyway, course stats. I don't know why this one always interests me, but I look at the overall average. See yesterday that it averaged 78.1, as in 2.8 over par. The most difficult hole relative to par was hole 17, and then 15, then 18, which tells you how tough it is to close this tournament out on 15 and 18. So those are 2 out of your 3 hardest, or the 2 holes you finish on, but average 2.8 today, 1.41. So a significant improvement to see that. And average hole 5, 18, and 17, as you read those backwards, still your 3 toughest holes on the course. Different order, but your 3 toughest holes. So the 2 toughest holes on the entire course are the 2 you're supposed to close out on, being 17 and 18. Still didn't play as tough as yesterday, but relative to par, they played your most difficult. Longest throw in, yep, the ace for 283 feet. The next longest was 90 feet on hole 2. So nice work there. Who threw it in on hole 2 from 90 feet? Let's scroll down. Raven Klein out of Minnesota. Of course she did. That sounds like something she would do. So there you have it. That's some of the that's a quick recap of the FPO action that we saw over there today. I'm going to pull up. I apologize. I'm going to answer a few of your questions. I'm going to go back and scroll back up so I don't get too far lost. But that's what we saw, like I was just saying, on the FPO layout and the Throw Pink Women's Championships. Eric had asked earlier, how does the layout compare with other years? Yeah, I don't want to say we beat it to death, but there's some significant holes that have changed this year. Hole 2 is vastly different, more so for men than women, actually. But hole 2 is very different. Hole 3 to 4 is a new hole. Hole 4 itself is the old hole 3. tee to now to what used to be the old hole 4's pin. That's a change, and then there's a brand new hole 4, and hole 11 plays a little differently, and that's about it on the women's side. There's a few more changes on the men's side. And yes, again, Dylan had asked earlier, Maniacal, isn't that the dude from Ypsi, which is Ypsilanti, I believe, out of Michigan? And yes, oh, Terry, you will love mead, I am told. I mean, if it's anywhere a tenth as good as what I'm having here, I'm in. We see separation at the top MPO over the next rounds, or is it going to be really bunched up going into Sunday? I'm going to say it's going to be just as bunched up. This is a tournament, except for yesterdecade, with really Kenny doing it more than anyone. This is a tournament that you usually don't run away with. And you have 4 rounds on the course. And I think to so many of our players today, there were 4 or 5 players that I spoke to. I didn't even interview them all, of course, but there was 4 or 5 players that shot 2 and 3 under in round 1 or 1 under, and then shot 8 or 10 strokes, 8 or 9 or 10 strokes better in round 2. Not quite that many, but there can be huge stroke swings, and the conditions largely can be similar. And and so with that being said, you could have so many people that have 1 good round or have 2 or 3 good rounds, and they fall, they're up at the top but have 1 bad round. Somebody can have 2 or 3 mediocre rounds, then have a stellar round. It's just you don't often see someone just pull way out and run away with this. I guess Statmando could tell me otherwise, but I don't feel like you do. Paul says, I have some peppered mead at home. I don't know. I'm getting more and more excited just talking about these options and opportunities here. I believe some is going to be sent my way, so I appreciate that. Have you heard from any DGPT pros looking to go to the Japan Open next year? Does Japan have restrictions on disc weight? I believe that they do, of 160-ish. But even if they don't, here's my quick take on that, since we're going to sidetrack from Throw Pink and U.S. Women's for a minute, Throw Pink and Usdgc for a minute. I personally believe, and this is what I've just told a handful of people and what I think will happen. I think with when it's scheduled, which is impossible not to conflict with something. I've talked about that before. The fact that it's not a very large scale PDGA based event, I don't know that we're going to see a lot of our players go to it. It's not on the Pro Tour. It's not a PDGA major. There will not be probably massive, if any, coverage in terms of like live broadcasting type stuff. I don't even know about post-production. All of those reasons is why I don't think we're going to see top pros go there. I think it's going to be an insane cultural experience. I've been to Japan for disc golf twice. 10 out of 10 recommend. I think this is going to be another unique one. It's in a totally different place, and it's tied together with like a 300 or 500-year-old festival, 200 or 300-year-old festival. I think it's going to be incredible and a lot of fun, but it is not going to be for your most serious competitive disc golfers looking for a large paycheck or a large bonus. It's not going to check those boxes. Therefore, I don't feel like you're going to see a lot of now. I think you might see some mid-level pros, and I think you might see a lot of amateurs or washed up has-beens like me, going for the experience and for everything that's going to make it unbelievable and amazing and exciting. You're not going to see Macbeth, Wysocki, Kevin Jones, Chris Dicker. You're just not going to see those guys go. It is my guess. I was wrong one other time, but I think once. Yeah, one other time in life. So that's what I'll say about that. Paul said, how was the taco bar you went to on Sunday? Just finished listening to the after show. It was wild. Quick story on that was I went to a place on Sunday night when I arrived to town, and it was in the Charlotte area. I was patted down, which I thought was a bit much for trying just to go to a restaurant slash restaurant bar. I I very much was. I was going to say a minority. I was the minority. I was the one person that very much stuck out like a sore thumb. And it was beyond hilarious how warm and welcoming everybody was and treated me, and a few Coronas. Everything else was provided to me. It was an experience. I'm certainly glad I stepped out of my, I don't even want to say comfort zone. I'm just glad I just didn't turn around when they said, "Do you speak Spanish?" And I said, "No." I was like, "Okay." And then he pats me down, and then it was just very loud and wild the rest of the time I was there, and a lot of people made friends with me, and uh, there was a communication barrier, but couple fist bumps and a few clanks of Corona later, everybody's friends. Chaucer mead is good. Is that even spelled right? Chaucer? But homemade mead with blueberry and orange is best. Okay. Hey, dude, Jeff Scott here. Used to work for Ken. Okay, you guys are pals. I've never heard of this, but interested. Avery from Colorado. Avery Jenkins. I'm not. Uh, I forget what that was in reference to. LOL 13 ABV. Let's go, Terry. I think that's a lot, right? Is that what somebody would say? Uh, better recap before you finish that. I talked about Jen. I sincerely hope that one of the biological females win an FPO. That's a I don't know where that how that's useful. Is the course the same for all 4 rounds? No. And I was trying to think. I only paused for a moment because I was unsure of how many holes. I think it's just 17 this year. Hole 17, they have A and B positions. And they used to for 16 as well. And they used to at one point for hole 13. Hole 13 staying in the same spot, and I believe 16 staying in the same spot all weekend. Hole 17, they play they play ABBA there. It's ABBA. So rounds 1 and 4, it's played to the short left side of the green for in the A position, and in rounds 2 and 3, it's played to a slightly more right position, but not by much, but it's more to the right. So just think of it this way: what you saw yesterday is A, that's where it will be on Sunday, and what we saw today is B, and that's where it'll be tomorrow, and as it was today, if you watched anything. I'm good, man. Looking for work in wine up in TC, hanging out, playing golf. I mean, it sounds like we've got all sorts of connections going on here. Get at it. Excuse me. Clayton says if Owen can shoot 6 to 7 under tomorrow and stay in the hunt, I would not bet against her down the stretch. Putting is king down the stretch, and she usually isn't in contention by then. I don't know about that, but she's had the most incredible year. I mean, she's overshadowed by the I don't want to call it near perfection, but by the insane play throughout the year of Kristen, of course, and the World Championship and everything else. But Owen is having one hell of a year as well. It's awesome. Want to see a PDGA glow round with night vision drone cams? Okay, that's about 200th on my list of things I would be. I'd queue up, but I can appreciate that you want to see that. It can be first on your list. I have family. Okay. Course stays the same. They move baskets around, not sure, and they bounce to a different area. I think I kind of touched on that. UDisc inside the ropes info do you have? I can go to UDisc. What inside the ropes info do you have? Well, I give you a little insight on what Sarah Holcomb was saying, for instance, and how difficult. Let me expand on that for a moment. Sarah Holcomb told me she was really perplexed by how hole number 9 is designed. Excuse me. We were here last night and talking about, is 9 too soft? Is 9 and too easy? Is it not a par 4? And a little more research and insight to that is, well, practicing, Sarah flat out said, I went for the pin a bunch of times. It's 362 to the pin. It's probably about 330 to clear the short edge. She said she went for it and she kept coming up like a couple feet short every time. But then she realized where the drop zone was, which From the drop zone, if you miss it, you're going to take a par. And the drop you can't really screw up from the drop zone. If you want to lay up from the drop zone, you're going to walk away with a par every time. Today, different story. Paige Pierce didn't lay up, but if you want to lay up from the drop zone, you can. So no matter where you throw it out of bounds, whether you throw it 100 feet right out of bounds or 400 feet left or 100 feet past the basket, no matter where you throw it out of bounds, you go to the drop zone. Sarah was saying if you lay up to the right side of the fairway, you have to throw a stressful shot to find yourself in bounds. Then you have to throw a touchy shot also to get yourself over to the green, which could still go out of bounds. And then at that point, you might get the birdie. So she basically changed up her game plan today and she said, I'm going to go for it. If I don't get to the green, I go to the drop zone where I'm essentially guaranteed a par. So I can go for the eagle, but if I don't get an eagle, I'm pretty much guaranteed a par. And she said during practice that she actually saw one of the course designers and people helping out with the event and wanted to clarify and said, hey, no matter where I go to the drop zone if I go out of bounds. And they said yes. And she's like, she didn't understand it. She thinks it's essentially almost too generous. And the other reason or logic that backed that was the designers and the powers that be they told her that they wanted there to be a drivable par 4 so that women would have an opportunity to pick up an eagle. We know on hole 10, the very next hole, the guys that are really aggressive and go after hole 10 can get an eagle on that one. That's the most common eagle on the course is on hole 10. And so on hole number 9, with it being a par 4 and it's still playing close to 4 or over, so that the math checks out, but the design is a little bit, somebody called it flawed. I don't know if flawed's the word, but it's definitely unique or forgiving or soft in that you go right to that drop zone. So Sarah said, I'm going to go for it. And sure enough, even though she came up short every time in practice, she cleared it by a few inches today. And then, spoiler, made the putt. So she cards the 2, and she was perfectly content if she would have been a few inches short to go to the drop zone and then card the par. She would have been content with that as well. So, anyway, I feel like that's interesting information. I saw the whole Jake Mon crew. That was awesome to see. I mean, such young talent. We'll talk more about him in the MPO side, but or the USDGC side. But talk to him. Saw Pete May, who's a legendary guy out there on the course today, and yeah, just so many great people hanging out and having things going on. I even played a catch for about 3 minutes with 110-gram condor, I want to say, afterwards. All right. Tyler Brinkley takes full credit for Cat, right? He shouldn't if he does. Why am I watching this? Johnny, you shouldn't be. All right. Let's face it. You shouldn't be. I wouldn't be if I were you. Each state represents some features. I think Maryland just got hole 1 because we are dope. I don't think so, Daddy Disc Golf. At one point, states could sponsor holes out on this course. This dates back 15, 18, 20 years ago. And various people and representative sent in to continue to sponsor holes. And then at a certain point, I don't know if it just became completely locked in or I don't know the for sure. Like, I think, for instance, Wisconsin for the longest time was sponsoring hole 12. And that was just one guy who's a super big supporter, would always send in money. I don't know if that still is the case. I haven't been on to hole 12 lately. And clearly with only 18 holes and 18 holes, and I think there's still 50 states. I'm sure somebody can correct me, or somebody will tell me otherwise. Yeah, I don't know how that sponsorship opportunity still works out. Maybe Maryland's cool. You can go with that. Need to throw those glitches. Yes, you guys should be throwing those. Justin McNabb, definitely tossing them. 360 cameras on top of every basket. GoPro sponsorship. Usually the zoom's not so good on those. I don't know what those are like for interacting with, some kind of controlling, but more often than not, well, I'm dating myself. Those are the original GoPros. There was no zoom, and I'm sure there is now, but and 360 camera. Yeah, I don't know. Anything's possible. I wouldn't hold your breath. Zach Redding says, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't know if I think a single Maryland player is there. I think there's some Maryland residents here helping, but I don't know if there's any competing. I don't know that much. Come visit Druid Hill, home of Terry Roddy. I know you know him. Yes, I hang out with Terry Roddy every day out there on the course, or I should say in the production area. And I owe Terry Roddy a great deal of gratitude. It was at this event 12 years, 13 years ago when somebody sat me in a chair and said, "Hey, we're going to do some live disc golf. Can you just like talk about it?" Here we are on a Friday night drinking this, talking about live disc golf. So you can either thank or yell at him for so much of that. That largely helped jumpstart my disc golf media career. Oh yeah, Fish incoming. Fish didn't make it into the event though. Mic'd up players or mics all along to pick up more player banter. That was actually discussed today. Let's quickly just touch on that before we get to some MPO action. Miking up players is dangerous. What if they say something, I don't want to just say completely inappropriate, but that's bad for them, for the tournament, for a sponsor. Uh, there's just a lot of things that can happen. Now, you could talk about having a fully open mic. You could talk about only turning it on, somehow screening it, somehow monitoring it. You're just talking about a lot of extra work and things to be going on. And then when do you listen into it? It's been discussed at great length. What was also discussed today was having, I think those are parabolic mics, those big shields, those big half semicircle shields that have a microphone and then pick up stuff. Terry Roddy, who we were just talking about, who does stuff on the PGA Tour and is very versed in a lot of equipment, said, "Yeah, that would be great if we had some more. If we had some of those out on the course, and those were pulling in." Now, clearly, you could have similar concerns that we pick up stuff that shouldn't be on air, but then again, to some degree, it's on the players and the caddies and the event people to make sure that you're having conversation that you don't mind the whole world hearing. So I don't know who we babysit or protect or don't, but there are legitimate challenges to all of that. Excuse me. Gonna have Brinster or Schwebi on. I'll take either of them. I was hoping Brinster would be in the hotel lobby when I got in tonight. My biggest issue and my biggest challenge is the second I'm done doing MPO interviews, I drive out to where the GK Pro guys are. I meet up with Christine Jennings, and then we do an hour and a half to 2 hours of FPO commentary. So by that time, it's at least 8:30, maybe even pushing 9 o'clock, 20 to 30 minutes to get back here. I probably haven't eaten. And then next thing you know, I'm live 2 hours later. So it, there's just 9.5 hours in the day. So hopefully we'll see if we can get some more people here. Show that beer again, Tara. Avery Brewing is the bomb. Is that Avery? Is that what that is? Yes, it is. Avery Brewing. I don't know. Again, not my official sponsor of this evening's show, which is of course Maniacal Mead out of Michigan. But this this was an expensive but delicious investment. Bottled November 1st, 2021. I don't know, whatever 15.13 means. I've got a few backups as well. Daddy Disc Golf says, I feel like we hear some conversations we probably shouldn't. but I'm down, of course, because we're all nosy. I mean, you want to catch somebody saying something they shouldn't be. Tim Court said, I just saw Christine at a DDG meeting Tuesday. I think a lot of people. Okay, here we go. I'm going to switch gears for a moment, folks. We're going to head back over to our friends at UDisc. And I got to just click some buttons. I'll get there. Usdgc. Let's start with core stats. We're going to switch it up. I'm going to get wild on you guys. During round one, we saw that the course itself played 0.56 over par. That's on average. Every single player, the ones that struggled, the ones that didn't, but 0.56 over par is how the course played. The most difficult hole relative to par was 17 and 13. The easiest holes, 9 and 10. 10 and 9, respectively. So again, we say that 0.56 over par, round one. I'm guessing round two, I have not looked at this. I'm guessing it's a full 2 strokes, maybe even 3 strokes better today on average. Round two, wow, 0.62 under par. So what is that? A full stroke? Yeah. 9 and 10 or 10 and 9 still played as the easiest. And 13 and 18, should I say 18 and 13 played as the most difficult. Is that what we had here? 13 and 17 and 13. And today it was moved to an easier, more right position on 17. Therefore, I could see it playing just a little bit easier. And it dips. Holy cow. Look at how it moved, the pin position. Today it averaged 0.13 over par in its slightly easier pin position, more to the right, more out in the fatter part of the green. And then today, wow, yesterday, 0.63 over par. So yesterday was 0.63. You move the pin and it goes to 0.13. It played exactly a half stroke easier today with the pin moved. And that's substantial. That's huge. What also is huge, another ace on the same hole we saw one yesterday by Austin Turner. Today, the ace came, I believe, from Jake Hebenheimer. If we click on this, he threw it in 391 feet. Jake Hebenheimer, bang, bang, bang. Nice work, Jake. No horseshoe putt required there. And then I believe we also saw an ace on hole 7. That was our friend Silas Schultz acing hole number 7 today. And I'm going to get a little silly because I think if I find just the right place, we could probably see that somewhere. I know there's a couple different angles, and I might be able to even show it to you. Let's see what we got here. Here we have it. And I'm going to go ahead and start that over here for you. So I think if I click on a couple buttons, I'll be able to show you, in case somehow you guys missed this. I'm guessing you didn't, but either way, I want to show it to you because I can now. I almost know what I'm doing. I'm going to click on this, and click on that. And folks,
a little free marketing for Silas, and here is the shot. Perfectly judged in front of a thrilled gallery.
Silas.
On featured hole coverage right here on the Disc Golf Network, Silas.
God, put it in my bag right before the tournament just for this hole. It worked out.
Hey. Oh, all right. We don't need the I'm not sure we need the full advertisement there, Silas. No, seriously. Nice work, Silas. Congrats. That is awesome. All right, let me see if I can cut that. Okay. So awesome work. Silas, Sky God. In fact, we were standing at the line to pick up the player packs, and I was looking through some of the frisbees that he had in his hand, and it was literally that exact disc. So, as he said, added that to his bag just for that hole. So let's go back over here. We're going to take another look. Ace, Silas Schultz, who made the next longest shot. A couple 49 footers. What are those, drop zones? No, they wouldn't be, because they wouldn't get the 2 then. But a couple 50 footers, Kelvin Heimberg, Chris Dickerson. Yeah. Let's scroll back up. See if there's anything else that jumps off the page. This is what I do. I use my friends over at UDisc. Let's talk about what we saw for the scores. I'm going to first sort them by hottest rounds. Okay. There's a whole lot of things you guys can do if you just click around. Bradley Williams, 10 under. There's probably an exclusive interview with him that you can find on the Disc Golf Network. Hopefully that was posted. I talked to him. Jake Mon, the 9 under, along with Macbeth, along with Corey Ellis, along with Chris Dickerson. So 9 definitely setting the new benchmark. That, remember, hot round in round number 1 was an 8 under. There were 2 of those, and then 2 7s. So today we see that improved upon by a couple strokes to get to the 9s, and then Bradley Williams with the 10 under. And he talked about flow. He talked about his mental state of mind. He talked about his full preparation and what he did and how he improved by 7 strokes over the previous day's round. He shot a 3 under, then came back out and shot a 10 under. So pretty cool to see. Like I said, bunch of 9s, couple 8s, Barella. I mean, you look at, a lot of these guys, of course, having these hot rounds, just a sprinkling of the bogeys. Dickerson's round was very slow to start. I feel like that's a trend for him at this course. I'm too lazy. Yeah, I'm not. I'm going to click one button. 2021. Let's go back. Look kind of smart if this is the case, folks. No, okay. The exact opposite. He started with 3 straight birdies. I bet you he didn't one of the other rounds. I bet you he started really slow a different round. Round 1 in 2021. Let's find Dickerson. There it is. Holy cow. Yes. He started round 1 last year with 4 straight pars. And I just remember thinking, man, look at all the strokes he gave up to everybody else in doing that. And so, yeah. Round 3, how many? Round 3, he had 4 straight pars. Round 1, he had 4 straight pars. Round 4, he went freaking 1 over on the first 4 or 5 holes. So Chris Dickerson, I have just officially discovered something here, folks. Chris Dickerson doesn't like the start of this course. Well, maybe he likes it, but he doesn't play it well. That is a legitimate discovery live here, right now. So Chris Dickerson, slow start today. And no one's really complaining with the par on 3. Let's be very clear, though. The par on 3 is perfectly fine, but not getting, and 2 has made that much tougher. But, man, and hole 4 is totally different. Either way, it's still a slow start. Might be different holes, but it's still a slow start. Andrew Marweed, a little bit of a slow start. We talked about Jake's ace. I love how the green jumps off the page at you. Let's quickly look, and UDisc, I'm going to call you out again. Is there any way I could get the Nico arrows to be relative? So, like, some of you see, you see the 4 next to Jake, meaning he moved up 4 spots. The Bradley Williams, the little arrow up move means he moved up 16 spots. I wish I could sort. You can sort by dang near everything else, but I can't sort by who made the biggest moves. I don't think that's possible. I think on the back end, in a special way, you can. That's not for the public, but either way, Macbeth up 15 spots, Williams up 15 spots, Corey Ellis up 18 spots, the CDIC Slayer, Chris Dickerson, up 27 spots. James Proctor up 24 spots. Drew Gibson moves up 33 spots. I mean, these are some pretty big moves. Anthony Barella, AB, up 41 spots. He was in 69th. Now is in 28th. Is he the largest shaker of the day? I mean, unfortunately, it means you have to be way down in order to be eligible here. Kevin Jones up 36 spots. Yeah, Emerson Keith moved the wrong way, 24 spots. So Noah Five Ash is certainly a conversation piece of the day. Seeing him on the lead card, started out very slow and then just ran into off and on trouble throughout. Finished strong with the birdie. He ultimately had 6 OB strokes and shot 5 over. All too often those things correlate unless your name is Ricky Wysocki. Ricky Wysocki, I think, had 3 OB strokes in round 1, shot even, parred all 3 of those holes. Today, at one point, he had 3 OB strokes and parred all 3 of those holes. So he was 6 for 6 in throwing out of bounds and still getting par. And then he finally ended that later in the round where he took a bogey on the final hole. What am I talking about? On the final hole, he ended that. So he's thrown out of bounds 7 times, and he's parred 6 of those times. I don't even need stats. That's off the dome. Crazy. Five Ash. I did talk to him and his dad. His dad is his caddy, super great guy as well. And right shortly before they teed off. And now I've filmed Noah on coverage last year's Chain Hawk Open or the year before that. Super great kid. He had said that it got back to him, or he had heard about my advice last night in talking about him not throwing like thousands of putts at the basket. And his dad did, in fact, early in the day, pull him away from the basket because he was just kind of practice putting. He was the second card to go out yesterday and then came in with the hottest round for quite some time. And so when I walked by at the end of the day, I saw him practice putting. And I'm not suggesting you don't practice putt, but I was concerned that with all this time on his hands and with a little bit of nervous energy, he would throw 10,000 putts or whatever and just putt his arm away, trying to gear up for today's lead card. And he said, no, I was only at the basket about an hour. And my dad had pulled me away, though, with the exact same concern. So Noah, unfortunately, faltered a little today. Clearly still a learning experience. And you're on the lead card at the Usdgc. There's so much to be said about that. Okay. So we'll see if he can battle back. Let's hope that he can. Overall, not his best effort out there today. As I scroll down, I don't know if there's Austin Turner kind of had an up and down round. It looks like things were going kind of okay for him. Then hole 17 got him. Maury Villman was having a great round. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 under. Takes the bogey on 16, goes to 6 under, and then 8 over par on 17. I mean, unfortunately, that is a tournament-ending, soul-crushing score. Aaron Doyle also struggled there a little bit, as did Silas and Austin. Silas also was quoted earlier today. I think it was on the Facebooks where he said something of like, I didn't shoot great today, but I got an ace, so who cares? It's like, okay, I can get behind that. He where he struggled was trying to close out. His round was going okay, but he struggled closing out, 17 being one of those trouble spots. All right. Quick bio blast. Jake Munn, what do we know? He's 17. He's about 90 minutes from here in Simpsonville, South Carolina. Again, super good kid. I know that's been said by quite a few people. He's in the same, down south disc support network as we find from people like Evan Scott and just a ton of other great talent in that area. Just incredible talent. Again, just 17 years old, which is awesome, as is Gannon Burr. Yeah, we'll see how he handles it tomorrow. I mean, he was a little bit giddy today, and I don't blame him. I think I would have been giddy as well if I were him. So we'll see how he handles the pressures tomorrow. At one point, he was tied for the lead, and then Wysocki had birdied, I think, hole 15. That put him out in the outright lead. Wysocki in the outright lead. And then when Wysocki bogeyed the final hole, Jake Munn not only is tied for the lead at the USDGC, but will, in fact, tee first as he has that number one spot. He is officially leading that card for the second, or excuse me, for moving day, for the third day of the USDGC. Just think about what division you play in. Think about you being tied for the lead going into your second or final round at a tournament, C tier, B tier, whatever. And think about how nervous you are. Now magnify that by about 500,000 at the USDGC. He's going to be playing with Wysocki, Nicholas Antala, and Bradley Williams. And then right there on their tail, Paul McBeth, Gannon Burr, Corey Ellis, Calvin Heimberg, and not far behind them, Chris Dickerson, who's also won this, Kyle Klein, runner-up from last year, James Conrad, who's won this. I don't know. I don't know if I could sleep real well with that. Nicholas had a great interview at the end today. He told us that he's won before. I think he's the highest rated player in Finland, if I recall. I'll do a little clicking here to half confirm that. I believe he's rated like 1028. The guy knows what he's doing. He's also very young. What is he, 20 years old? And I'm going to click on PDGA 91249, rated 1028, was previously 1030. He's rated 1028. He's got 21 career wins, and he's only been playing disc golf in the PDGA since 2017, which, to be fair, when he started playing some of his first tournaments, he was playing junior boys, which is just incredible. He was still playing juniors under 18 in 2018. I think this all speaks to him being 20 years old. And then in 2019 and beyond, he's been playing open ever since. But yes, phenomenal player, very well composed, very much has it all together. I wouldn't expect him to crumble or struggle or be stressed under those pressures. He's just not really built that way. Does he keep it all together and play well and execute? Maybe or maybe not. But I don't feel like it'll be from pressure, so to speak. And yes, thank you guys. In somewhere from 3 to 5 minutes from now, my Wi-Fi will disconnect me. I have to literally click like 3 buttons and then I can reconnect. It does it every single night. It's I think on a 24-hour loop. I've tried to preemptively do it. It doesn't help. It will disconnect me and then reconnect me. I guess we can try. Maybe there's a slight chance tonight. I don't know if I really want to try though. No, I'm not going to try. So if I disconnect for a matter of less than a minute, just stay right here. Don't go anywhere. I'll simply reconnect, and then usually I get back in it quick enough before it boots me off. So I appreciate the reminder. It happens either sometime in the next 2 to 4 minutes. I know that sounds silly. That's just disc golf life, man, when you're working out of your hotel room. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I think I've covered quite a bit of stuff there, but let me take a quick look at. I feel like I'm moving a little slowly here tonight. Maybe not. All right. Chris says, Wi-Fi, Terry. Thank you. I appreciate the reminder. I'm going to read a few more of the comments here, just in case. Excuse me. I have to itch my ear. Can't wait to see what the 17-year-old has in store. Jake Mon, totally agree with that. I hope he doesn't get the coverage nerves. That's a possibility. Way more for Jake than, say, Nicholas. I can promise you that. And he may handle them just fine, but there's a much greater chance of Jake having them. He's never been in the lead at a major, PDGA major before. Phil, you can bet the house that he will at least fall out of contention, but at this point, everything is a learning experience. I don't know that you could bet the house on it. I mean, I'm just going to speculate. But if he shoots 5 under, and then he's back of the lead by 5, I don't know that puts him out of contention. It obviously hurts his chances, but if somebody else goes out and shoots a 10 and he shoots a 5 under, I don't think that's that's certainly not crumbling. I guess we'll just see what happens. Was he on the same card as Barry? That I can't speak to for sure. D. Trev says this show is way better without JVD. That's a given. Oh my goodness. Yeah. We're going to take a quick beverage break as my internet kicks me off. No, just wait. Next up, a special run. I think that's what, I don't know, special release of Founders KBS Maple Mackinac Fudge. If you are a Founders fan, maybe you're into the Dirty Bastard. Maybe you're into the Backwoods Bastard, which are chilling in the fridge. Maybe you like the Breakfast Stout. I don't know. Seems like Michigan's doing it right. Maniacal Mead has got me covered, as does Founders for now. So I'm going to go with this KBS. No, I'm not old. It's just too dark in here. I don't know. Whatever 11% means. Let's get after it. Pitter patter. Does the Ace Witness deal only apply to coverage or any Ace? I mean, yeah, Germ yesterday was there to see Austin Turner's. Germ, I don't believe, was on the card for Jake Hebenheimer's today. And I don't believe he was on the card for Silas Schultz. Let's keep reading. If you found it similar to Will Schustrick winning when he was 18, totally agree. Schustrick had won 3 out of 5 years, and he was all in his teens at the time, or most of the time, very young, 16, 18, and 20, maybe he was. Mackinac, Terry. Mackinac. What did I say? Mackinac? I think I did. No, this is Mackinac Fudge. Mackinac? No, this is Mackinac. Cheers. Yeah. All right, let's keep reading. Just watched Shoestring's documentary today. Good stuff. William says, I love you, Terry. I'll take it. Not going to lie. Sorting by hot round should give you the Nico arrow sorting. No, no, not necessarily. It gives you a good indicator, but somebody could, if you were in third and you shot 20 under, you're still only going to move up at best 1 or 2 spots. So it kind of gives you a good indicator, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's not going to necessarily be correlated for that exact reason. I can't think of a better example. If you're in third and you shoot the best round, you're only moving up 1 or 2 spots at most. I just like it looks like we're back, folks. Woo-wee. There it goes. I think we successfully handled it too. Here we are. Cheers. Where's Jomez? Again, I'm guessing some of them are in Texas. I know Joey Tamale, who is I think an official employee of Jomez. At one point, he was on the bag for Kyle Klein, as in caddying for the weekend. And I don't know where Jonathan is. I'm just going to guess he's in Texas. And I don't know where all his cameramen are, but they are not here. This is not part of their overall broadcast package scheduling agreement. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what I can tell you. What's going on with the triple bogeys on 6? I don't know. I mean, because you throw it short and you go out of bounds. You then go to the drop zone. Then maybe you throw it from the drop zone out of bounds. And then you tap in. So 1 throw, 2 throws, 3 throws. So 3 throws, and then add the 2 penalties of 2 potential OBs, and it should be 5s. I don't know how you get I don't understand how you get a triple bogey on 6. I don't know what you've done wrong. We'll see. Antelas form is nice to watch. Yeah, as are so many Europeans. I mean, they're just so precise and textbook and repeatable and mechanical and I don't want to say exquisite. That's not the word. They're just mechanical, I feel like, and then therefore repeatable and pure and consistent. Their form is great. Excuse me. Price is Right. Yodel guy falling music. Okay. I'll start to think it wasn't going to happen. Well, it definitely did. Terry really called it, folks. All right. Oh, yeah, I did with regard to the internet. Thank you. So we should be good for 23 hours and some odd minutes. I'm calling the DGPT. This is BS. I don't know about what, but okay, call them. This is slowly becoming the crowd favorite part of the night. Again, if you're here, I feel like you're making poor life choices, but I'll take it. Mac and Act It. 24 hours of Wi-Fi. Ricky, Paul, Ellis, Gannon, final round. Joey Tamale has to be a Mexican mafia name. Yeah, he's something. Oh, I was going to say, did that thing get up and run away from me? I think people were going back to the drop zone if they went on from the drop zone. Well, if they went OB from the drop zone. Is that how it's played? Because that doesn't seem right. Macbeth got a triple bogey yesterday on 6. What do I know? I'm just like staring into the sky. OB drive off the basket. OB 5th shot miss. C2 putt. 6th shot tap in. So you re-putt from the drop. Okay, guys, let's quit effing around. You know what we're gonna do? Go to the gosh darn caddy book. Here we go. Let's go. You guys are going to come along for the ride. Actually, it's probably out there on UDisc as well. But let's officially go to the caddy book. So I'm going to click a few buttons to get you guys to join me. Even though I don't know what I'm doing. We're going to do this. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. And just like that, boom, here we go. Check out usdgc.com. There's Jake Mon and other people. But Jake's there. That's what matters. Here we go. We're going to go to what I'm going to guess is called the, I'm going to do a caddy. Yeah, USDGC caddy book. Can I do it without downloading it? Nope, we're going to download it. Holy cow. This is where I said you need a degree from Winthrop to follow all of that. Crazy stuff. We're going to head, and some of you guys probably already have this pulled up. Hole 6. Oh, gosh, it's not on the actual hole because there's just too much there. Are these relative to the holes? Yeah, we're going to say that they are. Right here, Winthrop Lake and the wet. Holy cow, is that tiny? Again, I'm not getting old, but here we go. Man, even got buttons for you. Winthrop Lake and the wetlands area behind the green are OB. OB on the right side marked by the rock on green. The Lake OB line is inside of the retaining wall. All OB throws are limited to options from the drop shot, near beach, or previous lie. Disc landing in the wetlands may not be retrieved. What? On green, the lake OB line is inside. Got that. All OB throws are limited to 2 options: throw from the drop zone near the beach or previous lie, which would be the drop zone. Wow. Well, there you have it, folks. That's why you need to read the rules. So otherwise you might be stupid. So you go OB from the drop zone. So you run at that drop zone putt to try and save your 3. You go out of bounds. You then are re-putting for what would be whatever, you're 5. You miss that, and then you tap it in. That's how you take a 6. So there's your answer. I'm going to tell you this. There's a little bit of relevance here, and it's actually great you're bringing this up. 95% of tournaments, when you see or know what the OBs are, it's pretty clear and or obvious then what the corresponding rules are. That's one of the biggest challenges at the USDGC is 2 holes that seem similar may not play alike. They may, or they may not. You have to double check on every single hole if it's a hazard, if it's an OB, if it's a drop zone, if it's throwing distance. There are so many specific rules, and I mean, a testament to that is just this. This is kind of the, I don't want to call it your precursor. This is the beginning of the caddy guide. And these are all the individual rules that apply. I mean, look at what hole 17. It's a sub 300 foot hole. It's one of the most iconic holes in disc golf, and these are the rules for it. Those are all of the rules for it. I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you that you need to do your homework, and then these are kind of ground rules. But you need to do your homework. And then when you're even in the moment and you think you know, you may not. Double check the caddy guide. And I cannot, let me go full screen on you guys. I cannot stress this enough. And this is why you hear players talking on the course. I cannot stress enough that no matter how many times you've been here and no matter how precise and perfect you are with rules, you need to check it every single time when you're playing at Winthrop. And I'm going to say that's part of a mental exhaustion that can come to mind because I can't count the number of times something happens, generally an OB stroke or an OB or a hazard or whatever. Something happens, and then somebody turns to the other players in the group after you've just thrown this errant shot, and you hear, well, what do I do next? Where do I go? Is that this? Is that? Every hole has a unique set of rules, and you have to pay attention. And again, I feel like it's part of the overall challenge and exhaustion and confusion. We have rules at this event that are not typically applied or implemented anywhere else at any other tournament, any other time of the year. So could it be confusing for the players? 100%. Confusing for caddies? 200%. Confusing for spectators? 1,000%. That's part of playing the USDGC. And to be quite frank, that's part of sometimes a criticism that comes with it is people are like, we don't know what's going on. And what may be a hazard one year is an OB the next. And the next year it's casual relief, but a bunker rule. Look that up. That's another day. Whatever. This is part of the biggest challenge to the USDGC. So some people really get frustrated by it. I can understand confusion, and I can understand you're into the sport a year, 2 years, 3 years. You've watched a ton of disc golf, whether it's post-production, live, whatever. And you get to this tournament, which is our major, and then some of the rules just seem completely out of whack, just out of left field, bizarro, whatever. You see, artificial trees planted. You see all sorts of things. Those are just obstacles. But the point is, and I can't stress this enough, this is something you're signing up for and something that you have to know about coming into USDGC. Always have the caddy guide. Always reference it, because I'll say for the 100th time, the way it's played one year may absolutely not be how it's played the next. And I think that has burned more people than we probably even realize. Well, last year we played, this, and then the next year it gets played a different way. Those are all concerns, very much so. So that's it's not a soapbox, but it's definitely a legitimate concern for everybody to know. All right. I'll cheers to that. Have I mentioned tonight that I have great sponsorship support? Can I do this? From Maniacal Mead out of Ypsilanti, out of Michigan. Stepped up last night after I said I'm interested in, I'd entertain the idea of some sponsorships. And well, apparently Mead is going to be my next ticket. So thank you to Maniacal Mead. Make sure you check them out. And actually, I'm going to put the website. It's maniacalmeadco.com. And I'm going to put that right in the chat. Which, if you guys put in links in the chat, it doesn't work. It doesn't want you spamming. But if I put links in the chat, it shows up. So thank you very much, Jeff. I appreciate it. All right. There's no double bogeys on 6 today, singles and triples. William. God, love this man. William. I don't know if it's the large percentage of or if it's or if you're making me blush, but I appreciate it. Hunter says, just stopping in to say you're doing a great job out there, Terry. I ain't doing much, but I appreciate it, Hunter. I'll take it. Are you able to get your disc from the water after you finish the hole? Technically, no, Jason. That's a great question. It says specifically in here that you are not to retrieve it from the wetlands. That area directly behind there is considered the wetlands. I think some maybe tournament people can, but you are not to retrieve it. And I think there was even a warning or a message during the players meeting that said you can get warned and or stroked. If it happens X amount of times, you can get kicked out of the tournament. So you often see people throwing into the water on 5, 17, 6, not so much 7, but possibly. There's dedicated people that are to retrieve those. And if you're caught going in there or retrieving those, there can be stiff punishments, including up to being kicked out of the tournament. You don't want that. What are we looking at? Me? Okay, that's silly. All right, I'm going to keep reading a few things here for you guys. Are these letters getting blurry for you guys? No? Okay. My contacts. Must be them. Next year, replace the rocks with pumpkins. Okay. Those rocks. I don't believe this. I had actually asked and said, how many rocks are out there? Thinking somebody knew right off the top of their head. I think that's a great trivia question. The answer is undetermined because they did not count them. I was about halfway through the course in seeing the rocks that were placed out there for this year. And I was about halfway through and I was like, oh, well, somebody's, when they put them out, they obviously counted them. They want to know how many they put out. They didn't count them. And then I didn't have time to go back and count them all. I think that's a great trivia question and could relatively easily be figured out. How many hazard/OB rocks were placed out there? I think they said 45 tons, but that's not a count of rocks. It's a lot of them. Fresh mott sticks do sound good. Marinara, maybe. My mouth was watering. Okay, you guys are weird. Weather going to be good the rest of the weekend. Trevor, come on. You trying to jinx it? You're not. You're just asking legitimate questions. And you know what? I'm going to get on board with that. So here's what we're going to do. Again, thanks to the powers of the internet. I think I can click on this button and I'm going to take a look. We were out here looking like 2 nights ago. These are all the places I've recently been. Not that this is creepy, but Ben, Leicester, Vermont, GMC, Shaletvia, and Emporia. Disc golf is life. Thanks, Dee. Okay, where are we now? I must have been on a different browser, but here we are in I don't know, some city. Oh yeah. We're in Rock Hill. I was legitimately drawing a blank. Rock Hills, Rock Hill, South Carolina. I'm gonna guess beautiful weather. That's what we talked about a few days ago. Here you have it, folks. Saturday, high 71, 10 miles per hour. That's up a little bit from the previous few days. And then we have, oh, come on. Don't you and your ads, you sons of, I'm trying to do a free show here, people. 71 miles an hour, 71 degrees, 10 miles an hour, and 70 degrees, 4 miles per hour. Sarah Holcomb and probably a dozen other people said this. This might legitimately be the nicest weather we've had for a throw pink / USDGC. It just gorgeous. And Monday it shows to be nice. So I'm not expecting anything to roll in. Absolutely gorgeous out here. Not going to complain. Michael Gibney, come on. Don't you have other hobbies you were working on? Didn't you just say you were going to start being the drummer for Genesis or Phil Collins or something? I don't know. You were picking up an instrument, I think. Can you grab the disc in the wetland with a drone? I don't think you can probably be flying a drone out here. But I hope you're doing well there, Michael. Making bad decisions never felt so good, Tear Bear. I like that. Seems a little excessive to punish for getting wet. I don't think it's a matter of just punishing them for the disc getting wet. There's a legitimate like wetlands delineation. Oh man, don't let me get into big words tonight. Wetlands delineation, I think is the word. And so it's a matter of like people, things, and like they're trying to limit how many. So it's not just like, oh, hey, we're trying to make you lose your disc. I just think it's a legitimate concern overall and kind of like a standing ground rule, so to speak. So I think I answered Chris and then a couple of those. How's the Edge Impact looking out there? And hippie anniversary to Jay and Des. Yeah. Two cool things going on today. I should have led with this earlier. Jay and Des Redding celebrating, I think, 27 years of marriage, wedded bliss. And just last year, they each got their own phone. They had one phone that wasn't a flip phone. Well, they had one phone and it was a flip phone. Now they actually have separate phones. And I think one of them's even a smartphone, maybe even both. But Jay and Des Redding today, Des told me, I think, that it's 27 years. So happy anniversary to them. And also 20-year anniversary for 20-year anniversary for Edge existing, the educational disc golf experience. Check your bonus content on the Disc Golf Network. Well, Tear Bear checked in with Jay on that. All right. No time. San Marino, Tim. Okay. High grass was not enough. Dang the rocks. I mean, to be fair, a lot of people are saying they like the rocks. Now, clearly you can get a goofy bounce off one. You shouldn't be throwing at one in the first place. But a lot of people are saying they like the rocks because it gives more of a depth perception and it gives more of a physical thing to see. Whereas if you think back to previous years, the last 22 or 4 or 3, you think back and it was all these ropes just kind of serpentining down a fairway. And there was an upper rope and a lower rope, and they were on both sides of the fairway. And at a certain point, it just looked like this sea of ropes. And now with the long grass and the occasionally sporadically spread out rocks, it seems to be more of a visual aid for a lot of people. That was their intent, and that's what seems to be paying off, to give you that insight. 71 mile per hour wind, just a breeze. Yeah. Terribly feeling effects. Come on. No, I'm not. It is the word, whatever one I used. Thank you. They should move the USDGC to Eagles Crossing. That's likely not going to happen, largely because it will be very close to Innova headquarters, I'm guessing. Could another event pop up there that's happening? Of course. I know the skins match is taking place, all that good stuff. But USDGC is going to do something that is on land or property that's solely either owned or run or managed or controlled by them. If not Winthrop, it would be something else that would fit those descriptors they're not. They likely do not want to be beholden. If it's ever going to move, they wouldn't want to be beholden to somebody else's whims and or stipulations. So I'm just making stuff up here, but that's what I would think would be the case. Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Delineation was the right word. Viewer wise, I like the rocks. Okay. I mean, at first I didn't know that I loved them, but then when I physically arrived and got out there and saw them for myself, it's like, yeah, these make sense. I kind of like it. I think they did a great job. All right. Let me click. Okay. Excuse me. Fair enough. All right. I don't know if you guys have other questions. I feel like I've covered most of the significant conversation pieces and topics other than it might be worth taking a look at. If I head over to here, I think one of the interesting things that's kind of unfolded, not only in the last few weeks, but just in general. And yep, this is going to look like a full-blown plug for maniacal mead, and it's not. Although the honey Darko does sound like my jam. No, what I want to do is I'm going to head over here to Udisc Live, and I feel like one of the more interesting things that we've looked at for a little while now has been the win probabilities. And if you look at round number 2, you see that Ricky Wysocki largely was trending around that 40%, dipped down to into the 30s. This is nothing more than fodder and something interesting to look at. You see him get up to that 42%, 53, really just way out ahead of everybody else in terms of the probabilities. And at one point today, the peak today was hole 15. He was 16 under. That's when he was the outright leader for a moment. And that's when he had a 63%. He was given a 63% win probability. Macbeth at 10%. And then when it was all said and done, Wysocki 46, Macbeth at 14%. You rewind and you look at how this tournament started, and it originally had Wysocki at 18%, Macbeth at 17%, Antala 1%. And here he is a couple days later, very much in the mix. He's up to a 10%. But right now, Ricky, who's never won this event, has a 47% win probability as we take a look at our stats over at UDisc. And interestingly, let's head over. We saw that Kristen Tatar had absolutely his massive win probability. I don't want to call it an advantage, but prediction, and had come into the event. Is she even on the charts? Oh my gosh. At the time, Kristen Tatar coming into this event had a 65% win probability. 65. And you saw how much it took a sharp decline as she closed out on 17 and 18, getting all the way down to 16%. And then you fast forward that into today's round. I've added her, and here she ends today still at a 4% chance. Katrina Allen with a 58% chance, and at one point had as high as a 59. So you just see, where Kat's trending, where everyone else coming into the tournament. Katrina had just a 4% chance. And again, I hate using the word chance. 4% probability. Whatever that. I haven't read the article. I'm sure they explain it. That's why I just talk. So very interesting. Needless to say, I always say it. If you think about it, none of that matters. Like, that's why we play the game, right? Aaron Gossage was not a name that most people were picking at the World Championships this year, and then he takes Paul Macbeth to the playoff. I mean, that's why we play sports. That's why fantasy leagues only mean so effing much, because it's just that. It's fantasy and their predictions. So I get all of that, but it still is interesting to look at. All right. Chance of MPO and FPO players. I think I just covered that, coincidentally. Is there better ropes? Just thinking about the rocks gashing disc. Yeah, I mean, I understand that concern. As discussed in the chat, someone said better than the ropes. Just thinking about the rocks gashing disc. Again, to be fair, you shouldn't be hitting any of the rocks. Every rock out there is out of bounds or in a hazard. Now, can you glance one? Could you hit one? Could it work it to your advantage after you do? Yes. Could it stop it and go a different direction? Yes. But in theory, every single rock's out of bounds. Just pretend they're like umbrellas at GMC. I'm just kidding. But every rock is out of bounds. I don't know how particular you can get. I mean, they're less than 2 feet off the ground. I think everyone is probably less than 2 feet at maximum height, and they're out of bounds. Buoys, sticks, whatever you put out there, it's something you want somebody to see. But then if they get hit, they can impact play in theory. But I mean, do you want a ball? Do you want something perfectly, cylindrical or spherical? I don't know. Don't make me keep using these big words. I understand what you're saying. You don't want them to be jagged or rough or hurt the disc, so to speak. But I still will fall back on you're hitting something that's out of bounds. You kind of get what you get. If Kat doesn't keep her foot on the gas, Kristen will slip back up there. So I don't know if slip's the right word. I could see charge. She will throttle. She will catapult. I don't think slip back up there, but I totally agree with you. And Katrina could have a safe, legitimate day tomorrow. And Kristen may say, yeah, let me flash that, world championship ring and let me get where I belong, which is on a podium. And just think, she just needs to get within a couple. You don't need to make them all up tomorrow. She just needs to get within a couple, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 4. I think that's doable for someone of her skill sets. She clearly has not played her best golf in these first 2 rounds. There's a dude in the wetlands on hole 6 during the drone preview. Yeah, probably not the best. I don't know if he's what's the word? Not certified. If he's someone that was allowed to or not, but yeah, he probably shouldn't have been in there is probably a safe way to put that. That was at least during practice, but still, I wouldn't want to be in there. What's your prediction to win, Terry? I don't know. I can't make one. Talk to me in 48 hours. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, look at that's so tough. I usually don't make predictions, honestly. But Katrina and Owen out in the front. I mean, but Hannah put together this incredible round today. Paige Pierce can still make a charge. I mean, she's 10 off, but you chip away 5 of those tomorrow. She shoots a 7 under. Kat shoots a 2 under. She's within 5. Anything can happen again. And same of Chris. I mean, Kristen's 13 back. That is a huge deficit. I get it. But this course, I mean, we've seen it. 10s, 11s, 12s, back-to-back triple bogeys. Like, there's just anything can happen here. And you can say that on most courses. But out here, you could rack up 10 over par strokes in the blink of an eye. You could be 10 over after 4 holes, and you won't even, your head won't even stop spinning. And that could be of any player. I'm not picking on anyone. That could happen to anybody. Terry, what's your best guess for lead card after Saturday? I mean, on the women's side, I don't see Owen Scoggins going anywhere. I think Paige is going to get on there. Kat has 6 strokes on 4th, so I don't really see her going anywhere. Even if she doesn't have a great day, she's still going to be in the thick of it almost no matter what happens. Sarah Hokum's been consistent, shot a 6, then shot a 5. She keeps shooting that, and she's going to be in the conversation for sure. On the MPO side, or USDGC side. Again, that can be a lot more volatile. I don't see Wysocki going anywhere. Nicholas Antala. Nicholas, not Nicholas. Nicholas, which can you even tell the difference when I say that? He's been very consistent. Macbeth, Burr, Ellis. I mean, you see these guys every weekend. It's impossible to pick because now we're going to get to a point where 1 or 2 strokes is going to be all they're separated by. So it's going to be a matter of, did Burr shoot a 12 and Macbeth shot an 11? So Burr then gets to the lead card. I think that's what you're going to see because I think it's still going to be highly contested. So I didn't answer your question, but there's some things to think about. Playoffs or no playoffs. I don't know if you're talking about here, but Brody Smith, I know he was tied or one ahead of Macbeth, and then definitely did not shoot he didn't keep up with what Macbeth did today. I think he had a pretty solid round. Yeah, he shot one better than yesterday. So he's in a tie for 12th. Was that third card probably? You can't argue with those results. This course can be crazy. Oh, playoffs or no playoffs, as in for this event? Clearly, we'll see how tight it is after tomorrow, but there's no why not, right? Why not? All right. I think that's it in the world of in the old disc golf stuff. Did I think? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I definitely thanked all my sponsors. I was going to, especially Jeff Frazier. Maniacal Mead stepped up, said tonight he wants to sponsor it. You see the logo. Make sure you check him out. You can find maniacalmeadco.com. I put that in the comments. I can do that again. But thank you so much to Jeff. Whether it's Jeff or somebody else that wants to sponsor the next couple of nights, we'll see how that works out. But nonetheless, we certainly appreciate the support here tonight, and I'm looking forward to checking out some of the beverages. I'm not just the president; I'm a user. How did that go with the hair club for men? I'm not just a client, I'm not just a customer, I'm not just the president. How did that go? Come on, people. To be fair, I'm hoping I'm never going to be using that product or service. Not just the president. I'm also a client. That was the phrase? Yeah. You have to be of a certain age to even know what the heck I'm talking about. I'm not just the president. I'm also a client. Well, I'm not the president, but of Maniacal Mead, but I am looking forward to trying out some of the products that have been told that I should enjoy. So hopefully I can continue to stand behind my sponsors and the services that they provide. All right, guys, I'm going to take a last gander at your questions so I don't drag this on for hours, which I could actually do, but I won't. I'm not just the president. I'm also a client. Thank you, Terry. Tim, I appreciate the heck out of you. Thanks for always being around and providing support, checking out the live feeds, Smashbox, Disc Golf Guy stuff. Also, the live feed over at DGN. I genuinely appreciate it. Thank you so much. Is this live right now? 45 East, October 8th. Yeah. We ain't effing around, William. Come on. Of course this is live. Jeff Frazier's out there. Again, Jeff, if I can link to your website. Jeff, is my understanding that you provide a shipping service so that if people want to get some mead, they can buy it from you? I know that there's certain challenges with shipping wines, shipping beers, distributions, all sorts of things and legalities that go along with that. I believe when I was on your website earlier, I was under the impression that if I click on this, let's who am I? No, never mind. If I can get I literally have way too many screens open, so I apologize. I don't know what that's doing. I'm going to close that. Let's hope I don't just end the stream here very quickly on somebody. Maniacal Mead. Here we go. I'm going to quickly click around Where to buy, Michigan buyers, local pickups, out of towners, and it's available in these states. And then you have various options there. All right. So it's all out there. I'm going to link to that. Um, and it looks like, oh, well, you say these states shipping to. Why don't you just say all, except for like one? But no, seriously, awesome. And if you're obviously in the area, we want everyone to make sure to go check them out. I'm going to put that in the comment section, and I very much appreciate it. Mackinac. It's spelled Mackinac, but pronounced Mackinac. Like the Mackinac Bridge up in northern Wisconsin / the UP. That's spelled differently? Seriously? I've only lived here all my life. What do I know? Ryan Pilcher just said, wait like 20 more minutes so I can get in bed and fall asleep. No, that's weird with you and your lady friend, Ryan. I don't know. Okay, I am into that, but not tonight. We got a little spam coming in. You know you're hitting big when you've got spam. Put user in timeout. That sounds all too kind. We're going to report it and kick them out. Get the most unsweet mead you can. No, I don't. I think that's the opposite. I apparently like certain barley wines and some of the sweetest of stuff. So maybe that's the way that I'll probably end up going. Well, Nate Sexton come to life tomorrow. He always finishes well. Maybe. It's been a client of the dirty bastard. Whew. Terry, have you played disc golf in the Toledo area? Toledo, Ohio area? I played, not the Marksman. What is that course that's incredibly tight and wooded? It's not Toledo, but it's in northern-ish Ohio. I played there for a tournament in 2020. In August of 2020, not Marksman, Mark Smith or something like that. Very tight wooded course. I had a really good time. Got beat by your super good local who's MP40 eligible or is MP40, but is also very good, whose name I'm drawing a blank on right now. But he's really good. That's where I've played. In Southern Michigan, I've played a ton in Michigan. In fact, at one point, people thought I lived in Michigan because I used to go play there every weekend. I couldn't find a tournament in Wisconsin or in Illinois, and then I would just keep on going either to Indiana over to Michigan. And I used to play about 4 to 6 tournaments a year in Michigan. This was late 90s, early 2000s. Yes, I'm that old. Jake Ann Arbor played countless times. I played when it was Hudson Mills Metro Park, of course, at the Monster and at the original course. Yeah, all of those areas very much played Cass Benton, played everything over there at one time or another. What's my favorite movie? Come on. I mean, if you're talking comedies, I don't know why I just default to that. But if you're talking comedies, I mean, some of the old not cheesy, tried and trues, like if you're not laughing at Happy Gilmore, and I understand Adam Sandler's not for everybody, but Happy Gilmore, I think I learned to appreciate that much more as a disc golfer. So for a Happy Gilmore, and that was right in my wheelhouse of being 15, 16, 17 when that came out. So Happy Gilmore, definitely. And then if you're looking for something a little more serious, I think one of the wittier / amazing movies that even has some sappiness to it, Good Will Hunting, is definitely on my list as one of the top movies of all time. I mean, I wish I was Matt Damon. No, I don't. That's weird. But really enjoyed Good Will Hunting. I think that's probably my favorite movie of all time. Have you ever played the Green Bay, Wisconsin? Love the streams and your coverage. Joshua, I got my first ever PDGA professional win in Green Bay. The year was 2000. Baird Creek, ring a bell? I don't know, not a great course, but yeah, look it up. My first ever PDGA sanctioned professional win was the year 2000, Baird Creek, Green Bay, Wisconsin, against Aaron Wild, who was really good. Much better than me, but I beat him. Being on the grounds, do you think Corey Ellis is locked in and looking like he's got a chance? Absolutely. Corey Ellis, and just the vibes, the fun. I'm kind of over the term vibes, but anyway, the feels, just I think the same thing. Corey Ellis, Brian Schweberger. Corey's just like one of the kindest, humble, sweetest, dialed, focused, diligent, just such a great soul and competitor. And then you got Schwebby on the bag. I mean, what a great combo. And we know how good Corey is. If you didn't know him, put respect on that name. Corey Ellis, not only has been good for years, but then to see him, go to the playoff with Heimberg at Deglow and then push for the win at MVP. Is it hot in here? Push for the win at MVP. I mean, how can you let me rephrase that? How can you not root for Corey? I can't see a world where somebody doesn't root for Corey or actively roots against him. Like if you actively root against Corey, you should reevaluate a few things. I mean, he's that kind of guy. Dayton, Ohio. I was there for the red, white, and boom. That had to go back probably 5-6-ish years. Red, white, and boom. That's Dayton? Yeah, I think it is. It'd be kind of funny to think back to all these cities where I've had random disc golf experiences. All right. When Chris, Josh stopped by the meadery. We're in Yipsy. Matt Damon played me in that movie. Wow. So you're a genius. You're a you're a genius that wanted to largely skate by in life and do the bare minimum, but you were a savant of sorts. Okay, I can get behind that. What up, Terry? Thanks for doing what you do from Rock Hill. Appreciate it, Galactic Conqueror. Thanks for the support. I see you all the time out here. I thank you. Ellis is yeeting it out there. I don't know if the yeets. I don't think this is here. Let me quick. I don't think soapbox it, but let me quick update you. Ian's probably not saying yeet this week because this is not a Disc Golf Pro Tour event, and therefore Hooligan Disc is likely not sponsored. I'm just guessing. I don't know any of this for a fact. I haven't been watching the broadcast, if I'm being real. So Ian is probably not contractually obligated to be yeeting out on the course or out in the commentary booth. So he's probably getting a pass, which is unfortunate because that makes everybody get frustrated at me even more because like Terry always yeets. Well, Terry's reading the ad reads, and I'm guessing at this event this weekend, Ian Anderson doesn't have that ad read. I'm just speculating. And it's funny how you guys all take it personal when really we're just doing ad reads. The soundtrack from Good Will Hunting is worth checking out. Also my favorite movie. Case, I couldn't agree with you more. That is, and there's an implied bias in that the movie is my favorite in the world. Therefore, the soundtrack, which is also phenomenal, and I own that. But I feel like if you would have just handed me that soundtrack blindly and not said it was associated with any given movie, you got to wonder, would you have liked it as much? It's like this associated bias that goes along with it. But for what it's worth, yes, I own it. I think the soundtrack was great. All right, now the questions are just pouring in, guys. We're going to have to get another beverage. Terry was in Dayton 2017 for red, white, and boom. All right, there you go. Thanks for locking me in on that. Did you think the Pro Tour and the PDGA should incorporate disc golf legends during events, bring them on coverage, get them involved more? I mean, sure. They have to want to be. Who are you talking about? I mean, I'm going to sound. Here's the challenge, and this can be applied in a lot of different ways. I'm just gonna pick a name out. Dave Greenwell, PDGA 962, 964, 962. Dave Greenwell, one of the greatest legends of all time in all of disc golf, like has been to 40 world championships. Dave Greenwell has so much knowledge and information and background and history and just one of the most winning players, of the era of ever. And Dave Greenwell is this phenomenal human. You get him on a broadcast, and whether he checks in for 5 minutes or 55 minutes, inevitably there's going to be plenty of people that are like, dude, I don't care. Who's this old guy? And then there's some other people that would be like, this is awesome. This history, this insight, this knowledge, the background, this is great. And it's always weighing those scenarios of, and I guess I always liken this in a similar sense. I liken it to watching this incredible, 30 for 30 tile, 30 for 30 style piece on a player and like getting their history and getting their background and getting to know them, which a lot of people say, yeah, we need to get to know our players. We need to make fans, have them make fans and really learn about them. A lot of people say that, and then you offer that stuff, and they're like, yeah, I don't really give a shit about that. Like, I just want to watch golf. I don't care. I don't care what city he was born in. I don't care when he started playing. I just want to watch golf. Show me like this 100-foot approach shot and then, this 9-foot tap in. And I sound a little cocky about this and condescending because it's really frustrating. It's frustrating that, and I asked a couple of our incredible photographers and filmmakers these very questions the other day. I said, do you ever get discouraged or frustrated by the fact that we get so caught up in like watching every single shot, even the most boring approach shots, the easiest of tap ins, when there's so many opportunities to get like really insightful, cinematic, beautiful, profile pieces? Or, dude, I don't care about any of that. Just show me the golf. Stop talking. It's just frustrating. And I say all that in such a cocky way because I hear it. And I don't understand it. I wish we could get outside of the box just for a minute and think about so much of this other stuff that can and should be created that I think a lot of people just don't give it the time of day. And what I mean by that is you could put out one of our large production companies could put out 9 holes of terrible golfers at a terrible course, and it could get 100,000 views, or this really good, insightful piece that is profiling a player that does all this really great research and homework and cinematic work with, and it gets literally a fraction of the views. It just, I think it's how we've trained a lot of you to watch golf. And some could say, well, the heart wants what the heart wants, and that's fine. I can't force you to like anything, but it is a little bit discouraging sometimes to see like this really narrow-minded focus on only watching shot by shot golf. I don't know if I can put it any better than that. Any more direct. Favorite I'm going to keep reading a few questions here. You're making a trip to Eagles Crossing for the Big Money Skins match. I'm not. At one point, there was an invite to somehow be somewhat involved from a media perspective, kind of on my own. And after such a long stretch, I'm glad I'm sorry I'm missing it because I do need to see the property and see the course. And I love the idea of what's going on. But at the same time, I'm not. My younger daughter will be turning 12. My other daughter's 13 currently. My younger daughter will be turning 12. Or my older daughter turns 14. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's it. But seriously, I'm okay with not being part of it. And it sounds like it's going to be awesome. But I'm okay with not being part of it. Did you get a chance to play Caesar Ford in Dayton? I don't believe that I did. Hey, Terry, favorite course in Central Oregon? I don't think I have one yet. I ran a Flex Start C tier a couple weeks ago in Central Oregon. I've only played like 2 courses there. So, but I played Pine Nursery and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, maybe it was the company. I played with Nate and Val, and I didn't throw my discs, so they didn't get destroyed. But that's only one of a couple courses that I played, but I enjoyed it as best as I can. I'm not a big desert golfer, is what I'm learning, or high plains desert, or whatever that's classified as. Simon had a rough day today. Yes. Is there any post-round production of USDGC? There is, Jacob. That's a valid question. Legitimate question in that. There is. It's all on Disc Golf Network, and it's probably being uploaded as we speak. I know FPO was uploading when I left hours ago, and MPO probably will get commentary by Brian Earhart and Nate Sexton tomorrow morning, if I had to guess, and then it'll be up shortly after that. So there is post-production. It's exclusively on Disc Golf Network, which is part of a Disc Golf Network subscription. You do not have to pay any extra this year at all. So if you're a Disc Golf Network subscriber, you get the live footage every day, and then every night you get the post-production, or next day, whatever. You get it. I think they're going to put it all on YouTube in like 30 days. Or you just become a Disc Golf Network subscriber now, and you can watch it here and now. Which brings me to an interesting follow-up. Maybe you guys could chime in on this. As I have now rambled for 2 hours, is this something that, does it matter if it's on the Disc Golf Network versus, say, my YouTube channel? This very thing, this post day, this recap, that's pretty lightly monitored in my own self-manned. Would it matter to you guys if this was on Disc Golf Network versus, say, continue to be here on my own personal channel? I think that conversation has brewed, pardon the pun, has brewed. And I feel like of course, there might be certain restrictions and or variations to it. I feel like the production value could get higher, but I also feel like it would come with a few limitations. And so I'm interested to hear if you guys have a strong opinion on that one way or another. Let me know what you think. Round one up, but not so easy to find. That could be. I can't speak to it. I never go digging around in Disc Golf Network. Usually I'm part of the production. So the last thing I'm doing is digging around looking for any of the production, but it should all be out there. So appreciate that. All right. Somebody else says, yeah, I played there last weekend. Busy. Okay. Just join. What's up, y'all? Hey, Cameron. Hope you're well. Is it time for another one? Are you doing any work with the Lake Marshall Silver Series? At the beginning of this year in particular, it was stated that I wasn't going to be involved with any Silver Series events. I think we have Brian and Christine and a whole staff and crew. I'm not involved with any Silver Series events, even the wraparound events, unless something changes. So the short answer to that is no. I have no involvement with what would be the New World event or the Lake Marshall event. I hear they're both, well, I know New World, I've been there. I hear Lake Marshall is a phenomenal course, though. Excuse me. I'd hate for it to get watered down on DGN. Somebody says it matters if I can drink or not. Watered down. Here's what I'd say to that, Chris. There's a different vibe. Like right now, I could be in Milwaukee. I happen to be in Rock Hill. I could be anywhere in the country and in the world doing this, whether or not I was at the event. So it's not like I'm, beholden to anyone right now, which I do kind of love. And I also love that if tonight things got super wild at Slow Play Brewery, or if I got caught up with other friends or doing other things or stayed at a player party later, like I do appreciate you guys joining me, but I also appreciate the fact that I can come and go and there's not an official obligation. However, if there was an official obligation, we'd probably have a person or two doing fancier things while I'm focused exclusively on kind of having a structured show. But that comes with the catch-22 of the show being structured. I wouldn't mind more structure. I'm not above it. Gosh, it's getting warm in here. But at the same time, I kind of like coming and going as I please. So those are some of the pros and cons. When did my light go out? Jeez, you guys. That should be my official timer. I know you didn't watch the coverage today, but any thoughts about Smith, Klein, Clemens, Orem card today? I was fortunate enough to score for them on UDisc. Great experience. Well, you know more than I do, Andrew. And I'm serious with that. I didn't get a chance to pay much attention to it, and it's a great card. But if you've got stuff you want me to share with the world, go ahead and type it up. I did see Kyle Klein's dad and stepmom out there today. As I mentioned earlier, his caddy was Joey Tamale, and his dad was just kind of hanging back, watching it, front row seats, but also not putting any additional pressures on and/or necessarily crowding his space or anything like that. I mean, he's good with his dad out there and such, but his dad was just like, yeah, I'll just lay back and we'll just observe. So Jacob, ooh, I like it here, but whatever makes you more money. That's a good point, Jeff. I didn't think about it that way. I don't know if there's a budget for that. I don't know if I should be more diligent in how I'm going about things tonight. I do feel like I should have giveaways. I do feel like I should have nightly sponsors. I mean, again, with all of those things come some more obligations. I also wonder if this would be of any value to somebody to strip down the audio and release it as a separate audio only podcast. I mean, I do a lot of looking at stats and numbers and things of that nature where I'm kind of scrolling along with you guys, but that's certainly an idea as well. It would be different, and I totally agree with you, Chris. Lake Marshall is a very nice property, 2-ish hours from me, and I'm excited to see the pros shred it. Yeah, the lights went down. Holy cow. How's the participation? Is there just as many of you as there was like an hour ago or 2 or 3 hours ago? That seems a little bit silly. Strip down the audio. Night, you guys have to have better things to do, right? All right, hold on. We'll be right back for this quick commercial break to that refrigerator right over there. All right, since my friends at Maniacal Mead and I just hooked up today, I don't have any mead to try out, so I'm going to cash in one Founder's beverage for a Backwoods Bastard. If you know me, if you've been here more than once, this is my jam. Barrel-aged oak bourbon barrels. Let me read the description here for you. Again, it's a little bit dark. I swear I'm not getting that old. And even if I was, that would be okay, guys. Expect lovely, warm smells of single malt scotch, oaky bourbon barrels smoke, sweet caramel, and roasted malts, a bit of earthy spice, and a scintilla of dark fruit. It's a kickback sipper made to excite the palate. Founders, I've tagged you. I'm looking at you. Founders, cheers. All right. Let's read a few more comments here. This is what I'm here for. Okay. DJ Terry. If the girlfriend is asleep, I'm assuming that's GF. If the girlfriend is asleep, then what is the harm? I'm here for the self edification. What's edification? I'm not an idiot, but I don't think I know what edification is. The instruction or improvement of a person morally or intellectually. Holy cow. That's a stretch, but we'll go with it. Play us some smooth tracks. No, I don't want to get my channel banned, even though I should. No. I do need to figure out how to get some more some music into like the intro show. Holy cow. Aaron Dahl doing great in the interviews on DGN, Terry. Enjoy your backwoods. Sounds tasty. I'm a fan of stouts myself. Let's go, Ricky. Appreciate the super chat. That is awfully kind of you. What time do I have to wake up? I'm not gonna lie. This is one of the assignments that's been a lot of fun this year, and out of the ordinary. And here's why. My main two assignments and focus for this week are that I'm ready to go for MPO interviews in the afternoons. And then the second that is done, I rush off to do FPO commentary with the GK Pro guys. So that largely leaves me no official capacity in the mornings. And if you know me at all, some of you do, some of you don't, I'm a night owl. I always say you are 100 times more likely to find me still awake at 4 a.m. than you'll ever find me up at, say, 5 a.m. for the day, or even 6 a.m. for that matter. I'm a night owl. And so next week's going to suck because I will be in Bend for next week's broadcast. Next week's broadcast takes place in the Eastern time zone around 9 or 9:30. 3 hours prior to that, well, not 3 hours prior, but that means that's 6:30 in Bend, which means I'm up at 4:45, 5 o'clock in the chair by 5:45 for what is then a 6:30 start. I'm not going to say that's hell, but for someone who's a night owl, that is very difficult. So next week, I'm back on that schedule. So I'll be in Bend for the 5 days of live broadcasting for the Disc Golf Network. Wednesday's the qualifier. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are the actual days of play, thanks to our friends at Barbasol, who don't pay me to say that yet, but thanks to our friends over at Barbasol. So this week is the opposite in that I do not have a morning obligation. Hope that answered you. If you like Scotch ales, have you tried Innis and Gunn? I have not. But if it's not Backwoods Bastard, I don't know that I like it. But no, I have not. I think it has to be bourbon barrel aged. I'm new to this, but I think it has to be bourbon barrel aged as well. Stouts and porters are good. It's getting to be that time for it. Yeah, people say that it's seasonal. If that means I skip any other beverages throughout the year when it's not seasonal, that I'm okay with that. But I'm going to do my best to make this a Four Seasons thing for myself. I predict Henna to be in the lead after round 3. That's not a crazy prediction. We can go with that. Innis and Gunn has some Scotch ales. Some are aged in rum barrels or Irish whiskey. Only because I'm a team player, I would try that. If somebody held me down, I would be willing to try that. Love the Bastard. Great choice. Appreciate it. Let's read a few more comments 2 hours later. I know, Phil. That's probably my biggest downfall is I always just when I think I'm going to wrap things up, I read a few more comments and the next thing you know, it extends 30 minutes. I understand. Terry, get them dog and them sipping on nice Miller Lite over here. There you go. Terry Miller Lite, that is. I didn't really drink Miller products throughout the college years, although my name is that. To be fair, I did date in college a woman who was an intern at Miller Brewing Company in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and she got 2 free cases of beer every Friday. You can buy the rest super cheap, but she got 2 free cases every Friday. So for a few months during one particular year, I became a Miller product fan, but yeah, she gone. Are you playing any courses near or in Bend? I'm not planning. Well, next week I will. Next week, I think we will go play something because Sisters I've heard is nice. And I would like to continue to try and run more Flex Start C tiers. And I would like to see the courses before I run a Flex Start on them. So Sisters is probably someplace I'll play in that area next week. And also I've been told that Bevel Brewing, Nate and Val owned, they will be starting up their winter putting league, fall winter putting league, and it sounds like it's going to start right around the time I get there. So I'm going to be in person for one of the first nights of their putting league. I'm looking forward to it. Are you playing any? Okay, just leave your phone on Eastern time and pretend you're on East Coast while you're in Bend. I don't get jet lag and I'm not smart, but I don't think that'll work. Does anyone know where the courses are going to be played in the Austin Open next year? Well, somebody else on the board might not. I know zero details about next year's events, other than the schedule that was released. Nate says, "Thanks for your insight about bringing legends into the booth. My idea was to be similar to other sports who celebrate players of the past, aka NBA 50, 75, bring them out to the event." I mean, I don't think your idea is crazy. It's partly attention span, it's partly the placement. I think we've done something that's kind of in that realm that I really do appreciate. Is every press conference this year we've had Hall of Fame members to kind of close out our press conferences. And I hope not only is it giving you a chance to meet and learn something about these Hall of Famers, these people that have literally paved the way, maybe not literally, but have paved the way for us and where we are today in disc golf, have designed the courses, have implemented the game, have run tournaments, have done all these amazing things. Not only are we learning more about them personally, but we're learning more about the Disc Golf Hall of Fame. And it's kind of tying some of that history together. That's been one of my favorite segments of this entire year. Is every event that I've been at where we've had a press conference and I've been one of the head people for the press conferences, getting to the Hall of Fame members, just like we did this week, has been one of my favorite parts of it. And most of the Hall of Fame members I've known, but there's quite a few that I haven't, or a handful that I haven't. And that's been so enlightening. And it's just, it's all about perspective. It's like everything else. Like when you were a kid, did you care about history? Did you care about, local politics or who was the first 5 mayors in your town? I mean, some people had interest and some people it doesn't. And mayors are just one random example. Are you a person that cared about, the high school sports and the history that goes along with them? Or the history of really any sport. Let's face it, there's millions of people who will never know who Ken Climo is or how good he was. That sounds like blasphemy to me, but I just happen to be in the generation of Ken Climo. Just like people want to, your debates about the GOAT of LeBron and Kobe, who never saw Michael Jordan throw a basketball or shoot a basketball or toss a basketball, whatever, defend basketballs, defensive player of the year, 6 times? Anyway, the whole point is that it continues to come down to perspective. I personally am a guy that really enjoys some of that history, some of that knowledge, and some of that background. And there's plenty of people like, who's this old dude on my screen? I don't give a shit. Get him off the screen. I want to watch Gannon Burr throw his approach shot. That's fine too. I used to get mad about that. I no longer get mad. You just have to recognize the various perspectives. I'm in bed now. You made it for the extra time. Tell Divya I said hi. Hello, Divya. Good night. All right. This is getting weird. No founders, dirty bastard, Scotch Ale. Bugatti. I can't sidetrack too much on this. When they pour out Dirty Bastard into a bourbon barrel, then I think they let it sit there for weeks or months or years, and then they pour it back into a bottle, and that's when they call it Backwoods Bastard. So Dirty Bastard is the regular Scotch Ale. Backwoods Bastard is twice the alcohol content and is their bourbon barrel aged Scotch Ale. That's the way I understand it. I'm not a pro, though. Free beer. Tip the scales. Yes, I miss the blurry years. I hope running a putting. I'm helping run a putting league in Baxter, Minnesota. Good luck, Benjamin. Every Wednesday at Bevel, Joel says. Bevel, Joel, I'll be there. next Wednesday. You better be there. We better hug it out. Next time you come to Stockton for OTB, you need to come hang out at CBDGC. We can hook you up with a bourbon-aged anything from Cali, craft beer. I appreciate that, Chad. Don't let me forget that if I come to town. Ken is the man. Yes, Ken Climo, I'm assuming. Bill Russell, 11 time. See, you guys, you got to be of certain ages to get certain points. Cam Todd for president. I don't think he wants to be president. I think he's happy being 2001 world champ. Yeah. But yeah, Ryan says his significant other is sleeping. Okay. What's up, Terry? Do you ever sleep? Alpha Tango. Sure. I do sleep. I don't sleep often enough. I think that contributes to my poor overall health and likely does not help any form of weight loss or weight loss attempts because I do not get a healthy amount of sleep every night. And I always trade that off and think, God, you can sleep when you're dead? I don't know. You can. I don't know if you have a choice at that point. I don't know. There's just a lot of life to live. Dust, off to bed. Doing feature whole stream tomorrow. Have a good night, Terry. So Dust is from the esports world. Valorant? I think I just nailed that. Professional Valorant commentator from esports. And he's been working with Gatekeeper. And tomorrow, I think Dust is his debut for the feature whole broadcast. So good luck to you, buddy. If you want me to come over and push over a camera, jump in front of it, grab some flags, and give some in or out of bounds, just let me know. I'm your guy. All right. Alpha Tango says, hey, you're killing the disc golf game, though. Much love. I appreciate that so much. Hey, Terry, first time catching this live. Zachary, not a good idea. Not going to lie to you. Not probably a good idea. Oh, man, I just closed out on the word I learned earlier. Either way. I don't know if you guys noticed. I don't know if you noticed the thumbnail from tonight, or maybe you can look at it later. Directly behind, here, I'm going to pull it up. I hope I don't lose you. Directly behind the interview station today, there was this spider that had a very light web of sorts. And at a certain point, a stink bug, which is a whole nother conversation, but a stink bug, like, found its way into it. And within seconds, literally within seconds, the spider got to it and started wrapping it up and spinning its, is that a web? I don't know if web's the word. Spinning its stuff. There's a phrase for that. Started spinning all over it and basically entrapping it. And meanwhile, the stink bug's legs, man, I wish I could probably show you this. Come on, Miller. Let's see if I can get this together. This would be actually kind of epic if I could download this and show it to you. And it was spinning its legs, trying to get out. And of course, it wasn't happening. And oh my gosh, this is great. I think I might actually be able to show you guys this. I think you're going to appreciate this if I can make this pay off. I apologize for the brief pause, but I'm going to see if I can download this. Oh yeah. Anyway, I got something coming for you guys, so give me a moment.
Oh, stink bug, that's the end of you, buddy. Oh, we're so sorry.
And then I end up doing commentary on it for a moment.
That is the
just
end
give me a
of
moment
you,
here,
stink
and
bug.
I think I'm going to be able to upload this and share it with you guys. But anyways,
Spidey's going to put you night.
Somebody yelled at me broadcasting live. I watched this spider. I don't know what the word is. Some spinnerets. Those things are massive. I don't know what the word is. Anyway, No, you can't see it just yet. So hopefully right now you're just seeing the thumbnail. And the thumbnail is showing a spider. Then just over next to the spider is this stink bug that is then all wound up. Okay, so here I'm going to click on media. I think I can upload this. If this works, I'm just saying I'm taking my media game to another level. This could be impressive.
Oh, stink bug, that's the end of you, buddy. Oh, we're
And I'm
so
hearing
sorry.
myself commentate on it now. Okay, so in 10 seconds or so, this will be uploaded. So anyway, this spider ultimately wrapped up the stink bug, and then once we realized how quickly it had happened, Blaine from GK went and found another one and then threw it into the webbed area. And this is like inches behind where where our guests are about to talk. So Paul Macbeth got in on this for a moment. A few other people got in on this, but we were then taking these bugs and then throwing them toward the web and then watching the spider go to it and then wrap it up. It was, I'm sure some of you aren't impressed, but I thought it was pretty crazy. So you are going to see this. It is 99. It is 100% uploaded. I think I'm going to be able to stand down and be quiet, and I'm going to show you what was on my phone. This is one of the ones that I recorded today. I don't believe we're taking this turn into left field, but I'm going to click on this and click on this and play it for you. And unfortunately, it's going to be of this size because I filmed it. Don't even start with me about that. But here we go. This turn into left field, but I'm going to click on this and click on this and play it for you.
Oh, we're so sorry.
And unfortunately, it's going to be of this size because I filmed it. Don't even start with me about that. But here we go. This turn into left field, but I'm going to click on this. I don't know why you're not seeing it. It's showing me that I'm seeing it. All right, here we go. I guess there's another way we're going to do this. We're going to go here. I apologize. You're going to have to hang. Of course, now. Freaking. All right. I apologize. You guys are going to hold on. Hang tight. Nope. Don't give up on me. I'd like to give up on myself, but I'm not going to. Hang up. Hang on. Don't hang up. I feel like I can still share this if I go to here. Johnny V would not be proud of me right now. Holy cow. These are all the things I have going on. Let's click there. And then I swear the payoff will be worth it, folks. We're going to go here. All right, here we go. That still do it. And now if I click here and here. I'm going to go to the beginning. We're going to go here. All right, here we go. That still do it. And now if I click here and here. I'm going to go to the beginning. I'm going to go here. So there you have it. I'm going to start it again, but the one on the left is the one it already did. And here's when we threw the second one on. And then it started to wrap this one up.
Bug, that's the end of you, buddy. Oh, we're so sorry.
And then at one point you see it like get kind of on the top of it and just spin it over and over again.
Oh, Spidey's gonna put you night-night.
And this stink bug's still alive. And it's like, no. Just the fact that it starts spinning it around. All right, so when you're waiting on competitors to shoot hot rounds, this is something that might take up some of your time. All right. I'm going to go here. That worked to some degree. Told you this was edifying. Uploaded to Instagram. If you actually go to my Instagram, there was one other version of an earlier one that was stuck in there, and I put it up, and you can see it a little bit better. It was came for the disc, stayed for the bugs. I appreciate that sale party. How many of you are here, and why? What time do we have? 1:34 Eastern, 12:34 Central. What did you think of Kelvin's insane recovery today? Really kept himself in the hunt after what could have been a disaster. It was incredible. I didn't see it, and I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds incredible for what you're telling me. I'll be the first to admit I don't know what you're referencing. Again, so my perspective is largely on the deck of 18. Obviously, I'm watching a little bit of 17's footage, 1's footage, and 18's footage, or I should say live action. And then I'm largely looking at UDisc with a little bit of actual coverage sprinkled in. So I can't speak to what you are referencing. But I could probably go out to UDisc and find it, but I won't bother at this point. I think I'm going to call it. I could literally talk to you guys for 8 hours if you just kept asking questions, but that's not going to do us any good. I'm going to say, will there be post-production footage on YouTube? In a month, there will be. If you're a subscriber to Disc Golf Network, there is post-production coverage out there available within the next day. And then after a month of it being on Disc Golf Network's platform, it will then all get released to YouTube. And they're also putting out highlights. Shoot, remind me tomorrow. I was going to open with the highlights. Tomorrow, you get highlights. I'll play them. We'll talk about them. Kelvin had a triple bogey, then 6 birdies together in a row to keep himself in the top 10. He was +2 through 6. Yeah. Doesn't surprise me. Elliot, thank you for joining. Mr. Eckhart, thank you for joining. I know you also jumped in on the super chat earlier. I appreciate that. Alpha Tango says, thanks, brother. Have a great night, Terry. Rest up. I will. That's it, folks. I'm going to thank Maniacal Mead yet again. Appreciate you guys, and I'm looking forward to trying out some of the product so I too can then not only be the president, but also a member or a client or whatever it is. But seriously, I am looking forward to trying it out. It sounds like something I will enjoy. And we'll probably be here tomorrow night. I don't make any promises, but what else do I have to do except for spend time with you guys? I appreciate it. Make sure you continue to check my Instagram, sometime the Facebooks, occasionally the YouTubes. Like, share, subscribe, do all those silly things. I'm going to have some giveaways at some point, and I'm going to be continuing to beef up, actually, any of the supporters that come at me via Patreon. Those are the guys and gals that continue to step up month after month and support me in the greatest degrees. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And thanks you. If you were along for this ride tonight, I appreciate that as well. It's been over 2 hours and 30 minutes at this point, including a quick break, thanks to our internet coverage here at in Rock Hill. But the disc golf guy, I need some outro music. We'll get to that at some point. It's still really, really warm in this room, so we're gonna call it. Thank you guys for joining. Is it Philip DeFranco? I love your beautiful faces. I don't know. I like most of you. We'll go with that. Have a good night. Thanks for joining. Hopefully you'll see me, or I'll see you tomorrow night for a Saturday recap, and then we'll probably have a Sunday recap, and then we'll have a podcast, and then we'll start another tournament. For maniacalmeadcompany.com, along with our friends at Founders, the USDGC, the Throw Pink, PDGA, everyone else. This is not affiliated with any of those other people, but thanks for joining. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to click this button. We'll go to a post screen, and then we'll be out shortly after that. I like most of you. Sail party. Good night.